All right, you guys. Yeah, I'm streaming live on multiple pages, so bear with me. But I'm gonna talk about this Ukraine stuff here in a second, then I'm gonna go on because I got things I got to do. But I want to play what Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris said um, for when during the debate with Donald Trump and what he would do, right? Because I believe all what happened, what went down yesterday in the Oval Office had a lot to do with him proving something to Putin. Okay, not necessarily not necessarily the American people. Okay, so now that's just me. That's my take on it. But anyway, we're gonna play what she actually said, and that's exactly what he wants him to do. And listen, for those of you who do not understand what went down yesterday in the Oval Office, let me kind of explain to you. So, President Zelensky went there to talk about a mineral deal with President Trump. Of course, he's going to eventually ask about, hey, I just want to make sure you guys still have my back, right? Of course, he's going to ask that. Why, why shouldn't he? So, and I'm assuming this is when they started getting to this. They started getting into the expectation. Okay, and JD Vance is just both of them are just toddlers to me. It's just I'm just saying they're children. They're like children. Only thing I'm saying is that then JD Vance comes in and talking about saying thank you. First of all, Donald Trump don't pay any taxes. Okay, so it's not his money going anyway. Okay, so JD Vance need to relax. Okay, he's the one to me that got Donald Trump all riled up anyway. Okay, with his nonsense. Okay, started talking and think he can lecture people on certain things. And listen, and I'm not because flawed people are the ones that are making decisions. We are all flawed. So that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I think it was J.D. Vance that got him all riled up in this nonsense anyway, but by saying what he was saying. So if you haven't watched it, you need to look at it, and maybe I'll try to find it and play it. Okay, but let me first say to you what Kamala Harris said during a debate about President Trump with this Ukraine war. So let me play this. Y'all give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to do two things at one time. Let me see. Uh, Share screen, I think. Yeah, let me share this, and I want y'all to see what she says. Share. There we go, y'all. There we go. There we go. There we go. And then y'all, I gotta do it on another screen because I'm streaming live um on another channel as well. So and I have to do it. There we go. Yes. So we're gonna play. Okay. What happened during the debate? Okay, because it's gonna make sense. Can y'all hear it?
Rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Okay, y'all. I'm gonna start it over. Let me go back. I don't think.
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me. I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania. And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together to support Ukraine in its righteous defense. And because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided. Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president, and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO, and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch? Well, first of all,
Okay, so so that's what she said to him during the debate. But that's exactly what's happening, guys. Whether you realize it or not, I'm not saying that we don't need a deal. That we need a ceasefire deal. But what we cannot do either is let a dictator think that we are afraid, and that and that we are going to just cower to him. So because we are afraid of a World War III. The bottom line is that if you give him an inch, he's going to take a foot. Period. And listen, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm not saying President Zelensky should be willing to come to a compromise, but not at this, not at not at his demise. I'm sorry. No, they drew first blood, right? So he can't just decide, okay, I'm just going to lay down my country and you can just come and take it however you want to. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. And I think for Donald Trump to display what he did in the Oval Office along with silly JD Vance is problematic within itself. First of all, you just don't talk to people that way. That's just normal, right? That you just don't, and you most definitely don't do something like that in front of the whole world, and then think the whole world's not going to think that America is really a traitor. Listen, y'all, we can't survive without NATO ourselves. If somebody come and attack us, we need people that's going to protect us. We cannot, listen to me, we cannot survive as an isolated nation. Get your heads out the cloud. So something has to give. But what you don't do is ask a whole nother country and a whole nother president to cower down to a dictator. Well, that's not the right thing to do either. So we're going to actually look at the what happened in the White House yesterday for those who do not know what actually happened. But it was brutal to watch. I can tell you that was brutal to watch. I was like, I don't know who JD Vance and Trump think they're talking to. If they want to talk to their family members like that, let them go ahead. But you don't talk to nobody else like that. If they want to act like a child, if they think they can talk to people all crazy, I don't think so. Because that's what they did on you. It was just very disrespectful. And don't ask the man because you helping him. All of a sudden, remain humble. You crazy? Y'all wouldn't even do that. Because if Donald Trump would have talked to me like that, I would have went nuclear on his behind. No, if you talk to me crazy, we're gonna have a whole problem. So don't ask no grown behind man of no over a whole nother country to not to really follow him up in a way. Come on, you wasn't in that situation. Okay, here it is right now. And I'm saying, I'm not saying that we don't need to come to a deal. We do, but the deal is not surrender. I can tell you that the deal is not to surrender. That's all I'm saying. Now we need to come up with something, but that's not the deal. All right, yeah. Let me share this. Okay, where is it? Here it is. Here is the it was so intense. I was like, what in the world is happening right now?
For 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden, of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't.
Did y'all hear that? He didn't keep. Listen, he signed the deal, but he didn't keep his word, because that's what crazy people do. Putin, right? That's what crazy people do.
Exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines.
Y'all, I just want to, when I tell you JD Vance is so childish, he is so childish. That is not what he was doing. No, JD Vance just got slapped in the mouth because he didn't know what he was talking about.
Because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count one.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions.
Well, first of all, he wasn't attacking the Oval Office. You asked him a question.
Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards.
United States. Let me tell you what the entire world better start doing. Y'all better get your own countries together and get yourself together. And because what happens is when you start depending on other folks, these are the type of things that they will throw back up in your face. You need us now. You're not in any position. Even if that's true, even although that may be true, you tell me why would you handle him in this way, knowing that this man has been in a war for 3 years, his people are dying. Why would you even handle him in this way? This guy is off the chain.
Mr. President,
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you
You're
think about-
gambling with
what do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And
We-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
I'm very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting, have
today.
you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October.
Oh.
Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president.
So then that's what he's upset about because he thought he was campaigning. What does that have to do with the price of China and tea? Nothing. You see what I'm saying? When you have toddlers run the country,
President who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country is
Can I-
in big
can-
trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
I,
You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military equipment.
You
And you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell
you
you.
just say thank you.
I
Accept-
said a lot of
accept
times
that there-
thank you
accept
to
that-
American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American.
well, first of all, he's not wrong trying to defend his country. That's number one. And he's not wrong for saying, I'm just not going to lay down to a dictator to let him just come over and take over my country. J.D. Vance is a I don't even curse, but that's real.
people to see what's going
I
on.
understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long.
No, you want to show Putin this because the American people didn't want to see nothing this foolishness. You want to show Putin this. Let's just be honest about what this is.
You have to be thankful. You
I'm-
don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there.
I'm-
Your people are
I can
dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know-
on soldiers.
Don't,
Listen,
don't,
you're
please,
running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop
Of course.
getting.
Yeah, but this is what Trump doesn't understand. They've always had ceasefire deals, and Putin has never kept them, and he knows this.
killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war,
But you're
I
saying
said,
you don't want a
but I
ceasefire.
said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire
guarantees.
because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That
It
wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what.
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
Caitlin, I do want to.
So let me stop sharing. That was brutal to watch. When I watched that yesterday, I was like, my whole stomach, I'm like, this is such nonsense. Who in the world want the American people or the world to see a conversation like that? I wasn't interested in seeing that conversation. Now, since he put it out there, I most definitely was not interested in seeing that conversation. Because why would you invite someone into your place and then handle them that way in front of the American people? I can't comprehend it. That's just like you inviting some people into your house, and then when you invite the people into your house, you mistreat them. I don't trust people who invite people into their houses and they don't really know how to treat them. That is just beyond crazy. Listen, America need allies. We cannot survive without them. So he talking about a World War III, but we need to come up with a deal to where everybody is happy. But if you know that Putin doesn't keep his word, and he's a dictator, and he wants to not just only stop with Ukraine, he wants to go into other places as well, you cannot be naive to think that just a ceasefire deal is going to be the easiest way out. Because Putin is a knucklehead. And so the bottom line is, the man just can't roll down and say, okay, well, it is what it is. You wouldn't even do that if you were the president of the country. Now, do I think that everybody should have remained humble? Yes, I do. But when you're in situations like that, it doesn't always come off that way. Sometimes you're not you ready to do, right? Somebody rolling up on you crazy. I'm just saying is that was just ridiculous. We didn't need to see that, and they needed to handle that behind closed doors. But since he opened the door to it, everybody else in the world is standing with Ukraine. It doesn't. Listen, I agree. Something needs to happen. Some agreement needs to happen. But you can't ask that man to lay down and let Putin just run over him and his country. Because we wouldn't do it. But at the same time, we can't isolate ourselves from the whole world. The intercessors need to be praying. We cannot isolate ourselves from all of our allies. Because if somebody attacks us, who's going to help us? Who's going to help us? So the intercessors need to be praying. Listen to me, y'all. You may not like Donald Trump. You may not like J.D. Vance. I'm not a fan of them at all. But baby, I keep them in my prayers because, first of all, something's just wrong with them. That's just me personally. So because I think something is wrong with them, I am going to pray for them. Why? Because they are leading this country, like them or not. And they need the wisdom of God to be able to make the right decision. And see, everybody talking about, the economy going to go down. No, the economy is not going to go down. We're headed in a recession, and a bad one at it. So all y'all MAGA people trying to convince everybody, you need to vote. You need to vote based on biblical principles. Child, I'm saved and love God. And that's exactly what I did. But don't tell me vote for a party because they morally think abortion is wrong. First of all, let me deal with this demon right now. Number one, the abortion issue is a church issue. It is not a government issue. The government can assist the church, but that is ultimately our responsibility to get out and make sure that we put things in place to help young women and young men make better decisions and choices. Give them an alternative. That's our responsibility as the church. That is not the government's responsibility. But what the church has done, no, you know what the problem is? The reason why we have not solved this problem? Because we too busy wanting to be famous. We too busy want people to send us cash apps and you want to rub shoulders with the big people preaching on. You want to buy jets and you want to build churches. We're not worried about abortion like we claim we said that we are, because we would have fixed the issue by now. What we want to do is lay back and chill and live this life that y'all like to preach that we're not supposed to suffer on, right? Which is the biggest lie ever, because the Westernized church, please, if I suffer just a little bit, This is just not the Lord. Because of so much convenience. The Westernized church don't know nothing about suffering for the gospel's sake. Okay? So miss me with the nonsense. We know nothing about it. We don't know anything about suffering for Christ's sake in the Westernized church. In these Western, we don't know. We don't know. Have you seen where the 70 Christians' heads will chop off? That's suffering for the gospel's sake. And the minute we get a little resistant to have to preach the gospel, we start voting for crazy people. Talk about, they line up with there is nothing the Republican Party or the MAGA Party that's biblical, nor is the Democrat Party. None of them are biblical. They are demonic platforms. And you cannot be so engulfed into either or to where you can't call out either or. I had a major issue for Biden giving a woman a transgender the International Women's Award. What? Why are all this money being spent for LGBT? To do what? I think what I heard, $2 million being sent to Guatemala so people can transition. So you want to take our tax dollars and send it to Guatemala for $2 million so they can transition from a man to a woman or a woman to a man? Make it make sense. That's under the Biden administration. Y'all, when you are a Christian, you don't have no political you just go against wrong. No matter what party it is, you stand up for righteousness' sake. And this mess that we just saw in the Oval Office was trifling, okay? And as America, we cannot stand alone. So we cannot isolate our allies from us. Because if they bomb us, what's going to happen? Because I done had a dream about it. I had a dream about a militant group taking over the Department of Education before he became president. They had guns. They were, and when I woke up from the dream, I heard militant group. Okay, all right. I'm not saying that we ought not to get rid of corruption in the government, but how the corrupt gonna get rid of the corrupt? That's what I'm trying. How the corrupt gonna get rid of the corrupt? Huh? That's just like Jehu. They want to liken him to Jehu. Well, God sent Jehu to get rid of idol worship, and then Jehu did that, and then he did another idol worship. I'm just trying to tell you what happened. Then he continued with another idol worship. What I'm saying is that what happened in the Oval Office yesterday had no business happening. And I wasn't interested in seeing it. But since it was right there in front of my face, intercessors, you don't have time to be getting caught up into nonsense. You don't have time to be worried about who don't like you. You don't have time to be worrying about people's opinion about you. You better get yourself on the wall. Our job is to stay on the wall and intercede for America and the world, because we are in trouble. And stop letting these white nationalists, some of these white evangelicals, try to convince you that voting for the Republican Party is some principle biblical thing. It is not. Either way, you vote based on you vote based on what you think is best according to the word. But do not tell me that abortion is a government issue. It is a church issue, and we have failed at it. Period. And what you have done, because we didn't do our job, then y'all want to make like that it's the government job to do. Then you you sit there and vote for somebody back crazy. But you done fool around and found out, haven't you? Okay. All right. Now you done fool around and found out. So miss me with the nonsense. Some of this stuff is, listen, I don't disagree with everything Trump is saying. But there are some things that is just downright wrong. And you have to be able to speak out against it. You don't have time to have favorites. Because Christ is looking at us and how we handle things. You don't have time to have no favorites. I got a problem. Let me make this very clear. I got a problem with my tax money going to LGBT for them to transition into other people or change their body parts or whatever they do. If we want to have money to protect them so people won't hurt them physically and that kind of stuff and won't cause violence and crimes against them, that I understand. But don't send my tax dollars, Biden, to Guatemala for $2 billion, $2 million, $2 billion, whatever, for sex changes. No, we can't do that. That's a waste of money. That's too much money going into things that we need it for other things. Because if you want to transition, go ahead. Transition yourself with your own money. But it shouldn't be with taxpayers' dollars. Go ahead. If that's what you want to change it, you want to change your private part to something else. No, baby, ain't okay, no problem. Do it with your own money. Don't ask the taxpayers to pay for it. And I'm just saying to y'all, the intercessors better get to praying because America cannot survive without allies. And the way that this joker here is going, he's isolating us from a whole lot of people. And you see everybody else in the world is standing with Ukraine, and I stand with Ukraine as well. I don't mind my tax dollars going over there to help them. So Putin won't get crazy and try to take over the whole world. Him, China, and that other crazy one they got going on over there. Okay? All right. So y'all, I just want to come on and say that and put my 2 cents in there. Y'all need to be praying. This is no time to be playing around. You ain't got time to be trying to impress nobody. You better get on your knees. The church has dropped the ball for too long. We need to take care of this abortion crisis and stop telling us who to vote for. We need to take care of the abortion crisis because it's our problem as a church. And if the government wants to assist, no problem. But that's our issue. I've said it 3 times on this live, 3 or 4 times. Get your heads out the cloud. Stop asking for cash apps and flyers and all this kind of stuff. And let's get serious about doing the work of the cross. Okay? Let's preach the gospel. But let's preach it in action. In action. Not just on the pulpit so somebody can say, ooh, girl, you can preach. Ooh, you can preach, man. No, nobody cares. Let's do the gospel in action. Let's preach it in action. All right, y'all, I got to go. I got things I got to do. But I want to share this with you all and give y'all my 2 cents on it. I was just disgusted on yesterday to see it. It was ridiculous. And this is a call for the intercessors to pray. And my main thing is, y'all, we need to pray. Stop getting involved in other stuff, and you need to pray for the country that you live in and the surrounding countries. It's time out just sitting around praying for cars and houses. You got to pray for things that are important. And I'm not saying because half of y'all want that stuff anyway to impress people that you don't even know. Oh, look how big my house is. Oh, look what I'm driving. Nobody cares. That makes you happy. Okay? So let's get back into prayer and let's intercede for America and the world. Love y'all, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.